Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of The Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and today we will be having a wrap-up of what happened in 2020 as we are approaching the end of the year in Egypt. We'll be focusing tonight on the development and the progress of infrastructure and what we had seen in terms of achievement in this sector in the infrastructure for the road development and building new roads and networks of roads reaching between the cities, between the new administrative capital, between the new cities and the old neighborhoods and the governorates as well. And tonight I'm honored to be having with me in the studio Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, the Professor of Architecture and Urban Planning and Professor at Al Galila University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. It's my pleasure always to be here.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
We will be starting, of course, with the presidential activity of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past couple of days, focusing as well on the new roads and the Middle Ring Road, 16 lanes in both directions, an achievement, the biggest in the Middle East. The new road we'll be focusing on in the upcoming report, and we'll be having the analysis after that with Dr. Yasser. So stay tuned.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inspected on Friday the Middle Ring Road project, which is considered the widest in terms of scope from side to side highway project in the Middle East region. The 155-kilometer Middle Ring Road project extends from the city of Bilbais in the Sharqiya Governorate to the Dab'a corridor. The Middle East Ring Road is located in a middle area between Greater Cairo's Ring Road and the regional Ring Road, serving all governorates of Upper Egypt, Nile Delta and Canal cities, as well as the new cities on both sides of the road in the east and the west of Cairo, such as the cities of New Cairo and 6th of October City. According to the presidency, President al-Sisi stopped during the inspection tour to discuss with one of the workers the sites on the Middle Ring Road and to follow up the progress of the work, as well as to discuss the current executive position of the construction, all while stressing the need to adhere to the timetable set for the completion of the construction works and according to the highest technical and engineering specifications and standards.
So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as we did see in the past report, inspecting the development and the progress of the networks of roads all over Egypt. The latest of them is the Middle Ring Road. What is the importance of such a project, as we did here in the report, that is the widest in the Middle East with 16 lanes, of course 8 on both directions?
These ring roads are a tradition in most cities around the world because they provide connectivity with different governorates around the capitals or the large cities without having to go through the city itself. So it protects the city, it improves the quality of air and the quality of life inside the city itself, and provides connectivity for different governorates around it. Traditionally, these roads used to intersect and go through the old cities, but in planning, we used to have these ring roads, several layers of rings around the city to protect the inner city and provide connectivity with outer areas. So these are not only roads, these are development corridors.
Yes.
And in the future, you will find on both sides developments, factories, settlements, residential areas, new cities can be developed there. So this is not only something to connect or used to for cars and automobiles, but it's actually, you look at it as a futuristic development corridor for the entire country.
Yes, during the report we did hear that it will be connecting the city of Bilbais in Sharqiya to Al-Dab'a district, of course, near Marsa Matruh. How do you see the importance of bringing those governorates, as previously we couldn't hear the two governorates in the same sentence? They were far apart from each other.
Not historically. Historically, Alexandria was very much connected to Suez.
Yes.
Traditionally, the transfer of goods from India used to be until Suez, and then on land until Alexandria, and then to Europe.
Yes.
After the Suez Canal, it became a waterway. But this link between Suez and Alexandria is very traditional and very old one. So actually, we are reinforcing the
Sharqiyya as well.
Of course, yes. and Sharqiyya. This was used to be the connection. The way to Alexandria, and also connecting Al Dab'a and the western part of the north coast with the rest of the delta. I think this is going to be a major development opportunity in the future, because of the nuclear power plant and the New Alamein city and all the developments that are happening there. They need to be connected to the rest of the main Cairo. Yeah.
Yes.
And this ring road is not only between Bilbais and Al Dab'a. It will encircle the whole city from the north and connects to the other side. So these are actually rings that surround the old city and provide connectivity at different intervals. So we have the ring road, we have the middle ring road, we have the regional road. All these are new opportunities for future developments.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as we can see on the screen, is always keen on speaking to the workers, speaking to the engineers, and insisting that the project should be completed on time, according to the schedule, according to the timetable, and even before that, if possible. What is the importance of, as an engineer, as a worker on site, that I would know that every Friday President al-Sisi could be here and could be checking things out himself?
We are going through a very challenging time, especially this year, due to the pandemic and the delays and the lockdown and the fears that people have. As an engineer, you can put anything on paper. But the most important thing is the actual worker in the site who's going to build this.
Yes.
If they don't feel safe, if they don't feel supported, if they don't feel appreciated, nothing on paper will be accomplished. So having this rapport with the workers, with the engineers in the site, and showing them enthusiasm and showing them what they are doing is important. This actually what transfers paper into reality. Without this management skill, nothing can be achieved. So I think what President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is doing right now is extremely important in boosting the morale of people, encouraging, assuring them that everything is under control, and their health and well-being is very much protected by the government and by the country. This is the only way you can get anything achieved. If people believe in you, they do anything for you. If papers are not enough to do anything, they have to get people to do it.
Not just a plan, with implementation, and quick and efficient implementation as well. Of course, Dr. Yasser, you are a professor at Al Galala University now, and the name of Al Galala itself was a dream maybe a year or two before that. Now it's a reality. You're a professor there. Tell us more about the whole city of Al Galala and, of course, the university itself.
Yes, the university is a beautiful campus, one of the state-of-the-art campuses with several colleges now operating. The road of Al Galala itself going up to the university is at the level of 792 meters above sea level. So actually,
how much time would it take from Cairo to there?
It's 1 hour 20 minutes. If you start from the Sokhna road, it's 1 hour exactly. and the road is very clean, very smooth, and Al Galala Road is actually, it's a scenery. You enjoy driving there because of the view of the mountains and the marvelous engineering accomplishment to make this road through the mountains and the bridges and connections. It's amazing. And there are several levels of the city. The city is on the mountain itself. On the top there is the university with the residential city of Al Galala city, and then there is Al Galala Resort and different levels until you reach the sea, the Red Sea. There is Al Galala Resort and the shopping areas and the recreational areas, and there is a teleferique that takes you from Al Galala up to the mountain on top. So it's actually a scenery to see. Beautifully designed, beautifully executed. It is, it's one of the unique places in that particular location. The whole Ain Sokhna is a beautiful place. It's amazing. Yes. Of course, the corals, the weather. It's all year long nice weather, especially on the top of the mountain. It's a cooler air. So it's an amazing achievement. The Al Galala and Al Alamein University and Salman University in Sinai. Many
at the same time, simultaneously.
Yes.
And you've always said, and you've always insisted that each place and each city has a character of itself, a personality.
Yes.
Speaking of Al Galala, for example, it's not just about studying, professors and teachers and students, but it's for tourism, it's for residents to be living there.
Yes.
It is development of roads. It has a lot of aspects at the same time. How do you see this vision? Because I don't think we had this before. We only had the idea of building a road, of building a city, of building each one by itself. But as you've explained, Dr. Yasser, what you are teaching or where you are teaching now as a professor at Al Galala University, it has everything at the same time. It serves everyone at the same time.
It's a unique place, actually. Very, very proud to be there. There is also at the entrance of Al Galala, there is the Marble City. And this is a huge center of production of the famous Galala marbles that is everywhere used in Egypt. And there are, of course, other factories for industrial, and there is the important Sokhna Dubai ports at the beginning of, and there is also many oil refineries and oil producing wells along the sea all the way until you reach Hurghada and Gona and Marsa Alam. And this is a beautiful place in Egypt, amazing area. So it's actually it has its unique characteristic. It's what we call genius loci. It's the ingenuity of the place, the mountain and the sea and the roads close to the mountains, and most of the touristic developments there are made on levels, so that all the units can see the view.
And I can see the whole of the city at the same time. On different levels.
Yes, from different level. You can see it from a distance also, and it's very close to Cairo. It's
an hour.
I think it's easier to go from New Cairo to Sokhna than to go to 6 October. The road is clean and wide, and services everywhere. So I think. This is just an example of what can be done in many parts of Egypt. Egypt's beautiful, has many beautiful places that can be developed and can be opportunities for Egyptians to get out of the traditional places they used to live, to explore and live actually in new places. We have now friends living in Siwa, we have friends living in Aswan all the time. Magdi Yaqub, when he came to Egypt, he built his famous hospital in Aswan. I think this is a trend that we need to encourage people to do.
Yes, and this is happening, as you've said, Doctor, as we are approaching the end of 2020, during challenging times, not just for Egypt, not just for Africa, but for the whole world.
Yes.
On the other hand, in Egypt, as we are having a recap of what happened in this sector, in the development and the progress, in terms of having more infrastructure and road networks, new road networks, efficient road networks, connecting the whole of Egypt at the same time. What is the achievement that caught your eye during the year in this sector specifically?
Actually, the completion of many of the projects that were on hold for many years, and people were expecting them to finish, that really made life much smoother. The Cairo-Alexandria Road, the Cairo-Suez Road, the Cairo-Ismailia, Cairo-Port Said, the Cairo Upper Egypt roads. These are major arteries that connect the country together. Beside that, there are other roads that are connecting and bridges that are making connectivity easier between parts. And then we are starting to work inside the cities to improve the quality of life inside the city. Major renovations happened in Heliopolis and in Nasr City, and in many parts inside the city we start to see it. The next stage, of course, we will start to see this happening in the towns and villages. And this will also allow more connectivity to happen. Roads are a major tool for development. Since the Romans, they started their roads, and
I need to reach somewhere to develop it.
You have to. So and now with automobiles and with trailers and with transportation systems, and now we are the construction of the monorail to connect the east and west of Cairo is very soon will be operative. The several metro stations and underground lines, new lines. There is also improvement that many people are witnessing in the traditional bus system. Now you can track the buses using an application on your mobile. You know when one is coming and when is it arriving. You can use several travel buses between governorates.
Yes.
There are many things happening in terms of the transportation and road systems in Egypt.
Yes, returning to the inspection tour of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the Middle Ring Road. I would like to understand the difference between the Middle Ring Road and the ring road that we are using right now and the regional ring road that you have mentioned. As you've said, Doctor, that they are rings around each other. Does this mean that this is the inner circle of the ring road that we are using right now, or is it a new project altogether?
See, the traditional plan, the traditional planning, the cities and the capitals were located in very strategic locations in the country, and they are mainly commerce and exchange of goods and the central government and so forth. So it's a natural center, but these centers became very crowded and overpopulated that crossing the city by cars and trucks became almost impossible. So the idea became to create these ring roads or half rings around the major centers, so that you avoid the intersection, entering the city, and you because it's impossible to go through it with the current situation. So you can connect the outer skirts of the city. So with the larger cities, then you start to create a second ring road, and then a third ring road, and then a fourth ring road. And these ring roads are connected with arteries, and they are connected with collectors, and then local roads. So there is a hierarchy of road systems that we use in planning. And the major element is these major ring roads. So the ring road that is the first ring road that we have, which is the area,
Yes.
This can be considered just a local road. It's not really a major ring road. The first,
Not
ring,
between governorates.
and it's
Between neighborhoods.
connecting neighborhoods of the city from the outside. But this middle ring road is the first actual ring road that connects governorates. And then there is the regional ring road that is after the new capital. The new capital is between this middle ring road and the regional ring road. And these are the roads that will
So
connect
does this mean that reaching the new capital would be easier and in a shorter time through the middle ring road?
Definitely, and it will not only be reachable from Cairo, it can be reached from different parts of the country to the new capital by the middle ring road and the regional ring road. There is a new picture that is being drawn right now in Egypt, and we are starting to grasp its meaning and its pieces, and it's happening very fast, and it's amazing what was achieved this year in spite of the pandemic and the lockdown, and most countries of the world were in panic. We were also a bit hesitant in the beginning, but we picked up quickly and continued the work and became a challenge to complete these projects within this condition. Actually, we were supposed to be opening the Grand Museum at this time if it was not for the pandemic. So imagine what would have been achieved if there was no pandemic. So I think we are doing a very good job, and these visits to the sites by President Sisi is very important to encourage the workers that if you don't take their hand, they will not work. They need this support from the top. So as I told you, we can draw on paper, we can write plans on paper, but if the worker does not do it, it will not be achieved.
Yes, just 2 months ago we heard from the head of the Roads and Bridges Network that about 85% of the road network plan here in Egypt was implemented at the cost of £170 billion. What are your thoughts on this huge number, or the amount of costs that were already done and paid for those networks?
I know it's not a matter of number, because roads are expensive. They are not cheap.
Even renovating roads
of
is
course,
expensive.
you have to have, while building them, you have to have a renovation plan for the roads, and if they are not maintained regularly, they get ruined very quickly. But roads are not cheap. They are expensive, and they are investment. They are not. They are not made for just cars to go back and forth. They are made for transportation of goods, for commerce, for people going to work, and so it's an investment. It's not a cost. I think it's the better term to call it is investment, not a cost. I think the number looks big a little bit, because these things should have been done over many years, not But we are now trying to achieve what was missed for many years in very short time.
Yes, what was missed, that we need to be adding 7,000 kilometers of roads. How do you see this number? And as you said, Doctor, it is an investment for the future. It is an investment for adding a whole life, not just to be transporting one person from point A to point B.
Yes.
How do you see the number of adding 7,000 kilometers under the tenure of President Al-Sisi as an ambitious plan or a vision?
I see it that we deserve it. Yani it's something that must be done. Egypt is not a small country, and it's not a small place. Egypt is not Cairo. Egypt is much more than Cairo. Building one road might be 800 kilometers. So it's not that yani difficult to imagine why this number is needed.
Yes.
Because you need to connect all the small cities together. You need to improve the quality of transportation everywhere in Upper Egypt, in the Sinai, in the Western Desert, the oasis, between the oasis. All this is much needed. The dirt roads and the old tracks that people use, these need to be developed as professional engineered roads. So I think the number is not surprising. It is needed, and I think it will be a plan to be implemented over several years. I think now we have established the main parts of the infrastructure. We need to fill the gaps between the bits and pieces and go to a second level of development that deals with smaller settlements, smaller areas, villages, and also focus more on developing the industry in the country. And industries do not work without road systems.
Yes.
They have to transport goods and raw materials and workers. So I think we are going to see a new picture, inshallah, in 2021.
Yes, and we're going to see a new administrative capital as well.
Yes, definitely.
A big part of the vision of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is to be having a new administrative capital. How do you see, as we have spoken, of course, a lot about the new capital during previous episodes of the Daily Debate, but how do you see the achievement, what happened during 2020 in terms of building a new capital and the progress made in 2020, despite, of course, the coronavirus pandemic, and the roads that, as we have discussed in the first part of the episode, leading to the new administrative capital as well?
Yes, yeah. I remember when we were talking in the beginning of the year, we were expecting the movement of all the government employees to the new capital in June, and everything was planned for that, and the opening of the new museum at the end of the year.
Yes.
But of course the pandemic came and really disturbed all these timelines and plans. But in spite of all this, the work is continuing. The iconic tower is coming up very clearly.
The tallest in Africa.
Yes, there you can see it from a distance now. Many of the buildings, governmental buildings, are completed. I think what is still missing to really start the real life there is the transportation system. Once you have the monorail and the ring road and the metro reaching the new capital, then the exchange will happen. People will be able to go back and forth. So I think it is ready, and I think if, inshallah, when this pandemic is over soon, I think everything will will be clear and will be ready to operate.
Yes, before heading to the second report of the evening, the infrastructure that we are having here in Egypt in terms of development and progress for the new road networks and the iconic tower, for example, and the whole renovation of Cairo, the new governorates and the new neighborhoods and the new cities happening all at the same time. They came with an Egyptian vision, with Egyptian hand, and with the cooperation with other countries like the United Arab Emirates, like the iconic tower, for example, China, for example, with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli going there on a weekly or monthly basis, checking out the progress of the iconic tower and the other places and the other things that are happening at the new administrative capital. How do you see the importance of bringing in cooperation of people with experience from different cultures as well, from all over the world?
I think, as we all now say, that we live in a small village. The whole world is a small village.
Yes.
Where globalization made cooperation and between countries a vital measure, that everyone has to cooperate with other people, with expertise, with capital, with know-how, with materials, with energy sources. You have to work with others.
Yes.
And you have the know-how, you have the capabilities, you can also help others. And we help those who are asking for our help, and when we need help, we also receive it from others. I think it's globalization made this very easy and very rewarding. The UAE is investing in Egypt because there is good potential in this investment in Egypt. They're not here to lose money. They are here to make money. Also, China is bringing its know-how and expertise because it's a good opportunity to enter not only Egypt, Africa. Egypt is the gate to Africa. When you have a good workforce here and good examples set in Cairo, I think that opens the way to the rest of Africa. And this is what China is looking for right now. So I think this is a normal opportunity, and it's a good opportunity to if there is way to cooperate and exchange knowledge and information and know-how. Why not? We need it, and they also need it. It's a mutual benefit.
Yes, and we will be focusing as well on the development and the progress on the infrastructure and the development of the roads networks and the bridges and building new cities and the achievement of the new administrative capital in the upcoming report. So let's see it.
Egypt's growing population and dynamic economy have resulted in a need for greater infrastructure development over recent years. This need is seen most notably in its roads. Cairo and many other cities in the country display chronic traffic congestion. As such, the government has spearheaded significant investment in the road system to ensure that it will have the capacity to cope with long-term increases in freight and car journeys. As of the end of 2019, the National Roads Project had developed 4,500 kilometers of a pledged 7,000 kilometers of new roads in the country. An improved road network will support economic development, reduce traffic congestions, and improve overall safety. The government has made additional investments in the land transport segment following the creation of the National Roads Project, and in the early 2020, the Ministry of Transport announced a budget of $9.8 billion American for road development. In the fiscal year 2018-2019, over 2,000 road projects were carried out and another 2,000 were completed in the fiscal year 2019-2020. While focus is on key projects in Cairo and Alexandria, a number of other regions in the country also saw substantial road building, maintenance, and upgrades. The Engineering Authority has overseen 2,300 projects and approximately 5 million civil employees across a number of sectors, including agriculture, mining, seafood, and infrastructure. Despite lockdown measures implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic, construction activity continued in Cairo's new road projects. The projects are part of an $895 million American government plan to reduce road congestion and build 40 new bridges. Construction is also being carried out elsewhere, including on the Ahmed Hamdi Tunnel 2 link, which will run under the Suez Canal and is slated for completion in mid-2021. An additional $142 million American was spent during building road infrastructure in New Alamein City and urban development to the west of Alexandria on Egypt's north coast. One significant road project is the recently completed suspension bridge that crosses the Nile River at Al Warraq Island to the north of Cairo and forms part of a link stretching from the Red Sea to the northwest extremity of Egypt's Mediterranean coast. It was inaugurated by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in May 2019 and is the widest such bridge in the world. Given Egypt's strategic geographic importance at the crossroads of Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, its infrastructure programs have also regional economic implications. The Cairo to Cape Town road project, which was first discussed in the 1890s, has slowly re-entered the economic spotlight. Construction of Egypt's section of the motorway began in mid-2015 and was completed in 2020. The road begins in Alexandria and passes through Cairo and Aswan, south to the border with Sudan. Egyptian territory includes another of the continent's important motorways, which spans from Cairo to Dakar, passing from the Egyptian capital to Alexandria, and west along the North African coast to the Senegalese capital. In the early 2020, this mode became increasingly important due to the disruption of global maritime and air supply chains because of the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in regard to air freight.
Welcome back. So a report about the overall activity of the infrastructure leading to more road networks and more bridges and more progress and development in this sector, according to the vision of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and under his tenure. Of course, Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, we are speaking of the new roads, of the new bridges, of the new cities as having different personalities, different characteristics, but they are important in easing the traffic congestion as well, the main purpose, as we've had here in Cairo in the 90s.
Yes, definitely. We suffered for many years of this traffic congestion and the lack of good roads, and we are finally enjoying good roads in many parts of Cairo and Egypt, connecting different parts, coastal areas with inner areas and oasis areas. I think this is also going to affect the connectivity with other countries around Egypt. I think, as the report indicated, we are looking for a connection with South Africa,
Cape Town.
through Cape Town, through all Africa, and this will be a major road for development and boosting the economy of all Africans, not only Egyptians, and also the coastal road that connects Egypt to Morocco and the Atlantic Ocean, and also hopefully very soon we have the bridge or tunnel connecting Egypt to Saudi Arabia. I think this is going to be a major strategic achievement to connect with the rest of the Arab world by car or on land. So I think the future is towards more connectivity and more transportation of goods, not only by planes or boats, but also on land by trucks and beside, of course, connecting people and travel and all that. These are important issues but economy is a major achievement that can be done through road systems. So I think this future of connectivity with the other parts of the world will eventually be happen, inshallah, with the the 2021 more hopeful than 2020,
yes,
inshallah.
on a positive note.
Yes.
Yes. Speaking of the Cairo-Cape Town road, what would be done on our parts to be completing this road here in Egypt?
I think the first thing is to have a clear plan with all the countries that the road will go through, and we can easily complete our part between Egypt and until Sudan, and even the part inside Sudan. We can participate easily in achieving that, and all the rest. Egyptian companies can also participate. Now we have expertise, we have know-how, we have manpower, we have machines. I think we can do the whole thing if we are commissioned to do it. But there should be a clear plan, not only to build a road, we need to build a corridor of development.
Yes.
With opportunities for industries, for settlements, for
on both sides of the road.
Yes, yes.
Connecting
definitely.
Egypt to Africa and vice versa.
Africa and other countries, and also connecting Egypt to Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. Egypt is part of the Mediterranean as much as it's part of Africa.
Yes.
And also we are connection to Asia. So I think this unique position, geographic location, historical location, I think will have definitely a role, inshallah, in the future. When we have our infrastructure ready, we can do a lot with it.
Yes, according to the vision, or under the tenure of President Al-Sisi, as of 2019, at the end of 2019, 4,500 kilometers were implemented out of the plan that we have spoken of, 7,000 kilometers. Does this mean that building new roads and bridges and connectivity, as you've said, Doctor, is a main priority during the agenda of President Al-Sisi?
Yeah, we are now in 2020, the population is 100 plus million. In 2030, it will be 125 million. So we are increasing exponentially. And I think this requires not only planning for today, we need to plan for the future generations. And this is a basic requirement of sustainability, that you are not what we see now. We might think, well, this is too much, we don't need all that.
Yes.
But this is not only for us. And this is for the future generations to use and to be able to connect and travel and find work opportunities and living opportunities. So I think it's the investment is in our children. This is what we are doing now.
Yes, speaking of the future and forgetting a very hard year in 2020 and hopeful of having a positive 2021 as we are approaching the end of 2020, one of the sectors that was hard hit, not just in Egypt, but in the whole world, is tourism.
Yes.
How do you see the importance of building new roads, networks, bridges, cities, the new capital, is affecting positively tourism in 2021 in Egypt?
Tourism is a very sensitive service that really gets very easily hit by any
by a rumor,
circumstance, by a pandemic, by a political situations, or anything. It can really be hit very hard, but it regains itself quickly.
Yes.
So this is the beauty of tourism. In few weeks you can get everything back as normal, and This will be facilitated more and more with having new roads, new airports. There are several new airports. The Sphinx Airport, the New Capital Airport, and the Ras Sidr Airport. There are the second terminal for Sharm el-Sheikh Airport. There are several airports that allow people to go to new destinations and not necessarily come to Cairo and then start their trip from Cairo. So I think the infrastructure will allow tourism to regain or to be vital again in very few months. The problem, of course, is all what happened with the pandemic, but actually, when we look at the pandemic itself, the government was very successful in dealing with the pandemic in terms of providing facilities, providing medication.
Even with the vaccine.
With the vaccine coming, and I think most of the architecture and planning literature now is talking about the post-pandemic city. What will the city look in the post-pandemic? How will this pandemic affect our new normal, as they call it, how we live in the future? So there are some lasting effects that will affect the urban and the architecture of the cities in the future. We are still studying it, but things are starting to come up in terms of social distancing, new spaces, new urban areas in the city that we did not enjoy before. People now try to avoid closed spaces and live outdoors. So what do? We need to look again. To adapt and maybe leave the shopping centers alone and let's
go
look back at the open markets, the open environments, enjoy the open air, and avoid these closed areas and closed buildings. So there is change that is happening, and inshallah in the future. We are very hopeful to have a wonderful 2021, inshallah.
Yes. The report also spoke about the Ahmed Hamdi 2 tunnel. Of course, how do you see the importance of such a tunnel reaching Sinai through different ways? Now we have 4 different tunnels from the Delta to Sinai and vice versa, and of course the Ahmed Hamdi 2 tunnel. How do you see the importance of this tunnel now?
We are now solving chronic problems or in Egypt, especially the connectivity with Sinai. We used to have very difficult time reaching Sinai in the past. With even after the 76 war with 73 war with the construction of the Ahmed Hamdi tunnel, it was also difficult still to go through it and go back and forth. We need to provide this connectivity with tunnels, with bridges, with electricity, with water, with everything. We need to make Sinai a vital part of Egypt again. And this was long overdue. So I think all what is happening is very important to make Sinai a beautiful Sinai, not only the south, but also the north and the center of Sinai. I think there are potentials that are long overdue that we need to look again at them.
Yes, one of them is the North Coast. As we are used to going to the North Coast only in the summer, now we have the new Alamein city, a city that you could be residing in all year long. How do you see the importance of such an idea and the progress made in 2020 for the new Alamein city?
Ahmed, when you look at the temperature maps, you see that Cairo is cooler than Alexandria because the sea itself makes the coastal areas more warmer than the inner desert areas.
Yes.
So actually living by the coast is not something new. We used to live, major cities started on the coast. So I think our attachment to Cairo
We need to be at the center.
really, yes.
At the center of the center.
Yeah, we say Masr is Cairo,
Yes.
so this is, I think, a tradition that we are starting to change, inshallah. In the
Yes, and hopefully
future.
with a new year
Inshallah.
in 2021 and a new mindset and new positivity. Dr. Yasser Mahgoub, the Professor of Architecture and Urban Planning and the Professor at Al Galala University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily
Thank you
Debate.
very much. My pleasure. And happy 2021, inshallah.
Thank
for
you to you
everyone.
too.
Thank you.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching and goodbye.